So in this demo, we're going to use Dr. Martin's concentrated watercolor inks to create a flooded ground that we'll paint into later. And what will happen is the entire painting will be keyed to this awesome pink color called Moss Rose. So I'll just put a little out, and I can always add more as I keep going. What we'll do is I'll just use my wash brush and coat the entire piece of illustration board. Now I could do this on panel or I could do this on paper, but the illustration board won't warp as much as paper, and then obviously panel will also not warp as much either. So really this concentrated watercolor will just stain the background. It doesn't necessarily need to be even, but as you work with this technique, you'll be able to see why that may or may not matter depending on what you want it to look like in the end result. So I'm gonna let this air dry. You can also force dry it with a blow dryer, but I'm just gonna let mine air dry so you don't have to listen to the zzz noise. So now that the watercolor ink has dried fully, what we can do is paint back into this, and you'll notice as we keep using different colors, those colors will key into and pick up the underlying color. So even though they're opaque, they will reflect whatever's underneath them. So just to give you an idea, this is what that blue really looks like, and this is what it looks like here with the pink coming back through. So I could keep going and I could just paint whatever sort of composition I want. You could use this to paint a realistic painting and key the entire painting to a certain color. Just gives you an idea how the colors are different. So you can clearly see how that pink starts to sort of come through all the other colors. It's more noticeable on some colors, sort of turns the yellow and orange. It makes this light pink here a little of a darker pink. It kind of comes through the green. The red feels a little untouched, but everything else is really impacted. So you can try this on your projects.